All right, we're back again. I'm back from our break, so we're going to be covering our next guide for the day, which is Rand. Rand Marks, as he's known officially. This guide is to help players get into knowing what they should be expecting with Rand, and this guide is also meant to help anyone that's getting into Breath of Fire 2 for the first time. This game was released in 1994 and /95. So anyway, this guide's going to be covering Rand's strengths, weaknesses, uh, field and combat abilities. Actually, I need to redo Cats because I forgot to mention her spells. So looks like we're going to be redoing Cats in a bit too. But anyway, we're going to be covering Rand's strengths, weaknesses, field and combat abilities, uh, spells, shaman forms, and best equipment for him, pretty much, and what to expect from it. So anyway, Rand is pretty much your a very interesting character because he combines both the concept of a physical tank as well as acting as healer. Apparently, Capcom decided to use a lot of some weird ideals for healers this time around, as opposed to dedicating one with a large natural spellcaster slash mage to do the healing this time around. Because Rand and Bo are our go-to healers. Though Rand doesn't have all the healing spells that Bo does. But for the most part, Rand is pretty much your tank. As you can definitely tell, this is all of his stats without boosting any of his stats at all through stats boosting items. And this is what it looks like at level 50. So he'll have like 245 strength, 243 on stamina, only like 10 points away from maxed out strength, and probably 12 points away from maxing out stamina. He almost hits max strength and stamina naturally with Rand. In fact, his HP is almost at 500 when he hits level 50 too. But as you can definitely tell, his strong areas are strength, stamina, and wisdom. Funny thing about Rand, though, is that when you get him initially, after he joins up with Corsair, and by the way, he's also the second party member that we meet after Bo. He pretty much starts off pretty weak. He doesn't get off rolling until he hits level 15. And by the time he gets to level 15 and all that, his damage and defense prowess starts actually improving significantly, and that continues all the way throughout the rest of the game. One of the downsides about using Rand, though, is his equipment options are terrible at most. Knuckle weapons have very low attack power, from what I hear. That's kind of rather removed, given the fact Rand's super high strength enables him to deal more damage than what his weapons would normally do. And sadly, his equipment options are extremely limited. Um, Two of Rand's best body armors have to be won from enemies, which is pretty annoying given the fact they have very low drop rates. Rand can equip virtually every almost every shield virtually in the game. There are some shields that he cannot equip, of course. And sadly, his best helmet is only a bronze helmet. And sadly, I have checked throughout the net hoping to find more info, and turns out there's no other helmet other than bronze helmet he can equip. So unfortunately, given his status as a member of the Shell Clan, that might be a reason why his equipment options are so terrible. But on the other hand, that doesn't really matter given the fact he has very impressive defense and offense. In fact, he has very strong offense in comparison to, well, in terms of offense power, he has pretty close to Ryu and Cat's level, but not very strong as much as theirs in their offense level. But when it comes to strength, though, Rand easily out-edges them. If it wasn't for his knuckle weapons being so weak, it would be way stronger than it should for the most part. But on the other hand, that's just the way Rand works. Anyway, so now that we covered Rand's stats, strengths, and weaknesses, we're going to go ahead and cover his field ability first. So Rand's ability is roll. Basically, he'll turn it into a rolling form, and you'll have somewhat control over it. But you got to be very quick on the turns because it is pretty easy to collide into stuff without turning. And there is a high chance of triggering monster battles when you get out of a roll too. So, but it's very good to help get your party around pretty quickly when you need to. Now, as far as I know, Rand's Shaman form does not have a field ability, as far as my knowledge goes. So we're going to be getting out of this battle, and we're going to be covering his combat ability next. Rand has the ability called Wake. Now, initially, you would think this would be used to arouse a sleeping ally, but it doesn't. What it is actually a small chance of reviving an ally. So if your party members were down, you would basically Rand would perform his normal attack on the opponent, and if it works, he'll revive that ally with 1 HP. Now, of course, this doesn't always work because just like Renew, it probably does have a 70% chance of activating, but that's just my guess for the most part, and it doesn't revive your ally completely, so it only leaves them with 1 HP, and it does give them a chance to attack right after they get revived. So basically that's what Wake does for the most part. I'm sorry I don't have an ally to awaken party members. So we're going to get out of this battle, and then we're going to cover his spells next. Which means I'll probably have to wait till tomorrow to redo Cat's Guide again, but we'll get Rand's guide out of the way for the most part. So we're going to finish this battle first, and then we're going to go back to the township, heal up, and switch to Rand's Shaman form to cover our next ability. So Rand is capable of fusing with other shamans, but to get his actual fusions, you will need to recruit solo the Earth Shaman. To do that, you need to donate 2,000 coins to Namada's Temple for donations. The best way to keep track of your donations is count your donations by 20, and by the time you hit 20, you'll have 2,000 donated. And after you do donate and complete Avra, Solo will become available for recruiting right after that. So Rand has 2 forms involving Solo, which I'll go over right now. So he has one where he can merge with Solo by himself here. So when Rand takes this form, he gains some boost. And this is because Rand is actually more lenient towards Earth than the other elements. So as you can definitely see here, his defense went up a bit as well. So this makes him a little bit more highly defensive. It does boost up his other stats, not a whole lot, I should probably point out. And then, of course, the actual fusion you want to do, and the most recommended one, is to fuse Sesso, the Water Shaman, with Solo with Earth Shaman to make Rand an actual take. He can also merge with Senna and Spoo as well if you want to combine those instead. So anyway, you can definitely see that Rand's wisdom skyrocketed in this form since the Water Shaman is more geared to towards wisdom, and his offense and defense have also improved along with his vigor. So basically, if you want to make Rand a little bit faster and have more bulk and durability, you definitely want to have him merge with this form for the most part. Now, as far as I know, Wake does pretty much the same thing, reviving allies. I don't know what it does in fusion form. If anyone has figured out what that does on fusion form, please let me know in comments. Because this will be transferred to exported to YouTube when I get a chance. Well, that actually does more damage. So normally, if I was to take a guess, if that party member were to be defeated, that would probably revive that party member with more HP than what Rand would normally do on Wake Up. So we're going to try to KO Ryu and see what would happen. So once Rand once Ryu goes 0, we're gonna try Wake again and see what happens. All right, now we get to see what this does on Wake Up. Ah, so it actually restores more HP. It doesn't give Ryu the ability to counterattack, unfortunately. All right, so basically Wake does the same thing in Shaman form, but it does restore more HP as opposed to what he would do on normal form. So that's pretty interesting to know. Anyway, once we heal up our party members and unfused Rand, we're going to be going over his spells real quick before we go over final equipment for endgame. Alright, so in regards to Rand spells, he learns mostly healing spells. He does get access to 2 spells for combat, but not a whole lot. So anyway, Rand will start off with Cure 1 and Cure Poison. Both of these spells are attained right away the moment Rand joins your party for your fight with Agus, or if you fail to save Cat. Cure 1 restores 40 HP, similar to how an herb does. And Cure Poison, of course, cures poison and zombie. Zombie being one of the more bigger, annoying ailments to deal with. And of course, poison's pretty easily treatable, but zombie is definitely something you want to keep Rand protected from. I recommend giving him either the Shining Bracelet or Karma Bar to keep him from getting zombified. So that way he can heal the other party members when needed. Thunder, which is acquired at level 9, will allow him to get a minor lightning damage on enemies. This is actually good if you want to hunt down clay sludges over northeast of Tag Woods. When I mean northeast of Tag Woods, I'm not talking about inside the dungeon. It's right near the cross gap between that area and Surfy's house. So basically, you can hunt down clay sludges and hopefully try to nail it with a thunder spell if you're lucky enough to destroy it. But technically, this will only be useful against enemies that are vulnerable to lightning, which is mostly aquatic monsters most of the time. But it'll probably fall off pretty quickly, unfortunately. By the time Rand reaches either level 15 or beyond it, he'll get access to Cure 2. This spell has the same effects as Health Ball BL in that it heals 100 HP. Rand's spell after this, upon hitting early mid-20s, is 8.0. He's the only party member in the entire game that has access to the spell, which is very ironic given the fact that neither Blue or Neon do not have access to the spell. This basically hits anywhere between 80 to 75 damage for the most part, and deals earth-based damage, and on certain terrain can break the ground as well. On crit, that is. Renew is a spell that Rand gets a little bit later, after 8.0. I forgot which level he gets it on, but this spell allows him to try to revive a party member for a 70% chance of reviving a party member. So unfortunately, this spell is not very reliable, given the fact that only 70% of the time it will work, and 70% of the time it will fail, pretty much. So this is not a very reliable spell, and I'd strongly recommend either using Renew X or Life PL to revive your party members. Heal pretty much essentially cures any status element that the party members suffer when you cast this spell. This is acquired just before, pretty much around the early 30s, I believe, but not before level 35. And this is a very general, useful spell for the most part. Rand has Cure 3, which is arguably 2 of his best healing spells. You get this at level 35. This heals all party members for 120 HP, same effect as Vanilla Extract. And Cure 4, which is the last one he gets around 38, I believe, or so. This allows him to restore one party member's HP completely. It has the same effects as Roast. Technically, I prefer Rand over Bow because Bow's Renew X and Cure X have way too much AP cost, whereas Rand can definitely use these spells within his limits. Alright, so now that we covered Rand's spells, let's go over his equipment options, because he's definitely one of the more recommended party members to bring for the final level. of Breath of Fire 2. So Kaiser Knuckle can be purchased over at Beretta Store at Township when you recruit her. You can get this right after either Senny joins up in Township or after you complete Evra. And this is basically his strongest weapon. His only elemental weapons are Burn Knuckle, which you can get easily through either a Beretta shop on the second upgrade, as well as Heckler's shop. And you also get Blast Knuckle after a certain event from St. Ava Church. And that deals wind/explosive damage. Rand's body armor options, he has 3 of them. The most common one you'll probably see if you do not get either stone armor or mammoth cloth is Spirit Robe. You can get this on the lower levels in the Sky Tower. This does improve his agility a bit, and it's way stronger than the Sooty armor that he pretty much wears when he first joins up. But it's technically not very strong on the defensive side. Mammoth Clothes, like Cat, is Rand's best armor, but you would have to try to win 2 of them for both him and Cat to have. His second best armor option is less risky, but if you try to get it early on, it might be a lot risky, and that's hunting down S-Idols near Semaphore for stone armor. It does give him probably the second best defense upgrade, but it does weaken his vigor to 0, pretty much. Unless you choose to stat upgrade his agility, pretty much. But aside from S-Idols, Genenas, which are also idol enemies, can be fought on Mount Mori as well. And one thing to keep in mind is that when you're fighting any of these monsters that do drop these gear, Mammoth Clothes can be won from either Mammoths or Big Hands. They do have second items, which are their more common items. Mammoths tend to drop power food more notably, more so than Mammoth Clothes. And Earth Armor is also another interesting drop, because that's very strong armor for Ryu, Sean, and Sten, but not for Rand. And that can be dropped instead of stone armor. In terms of helmet, Bronze Helmet is like the only helmet he can equip, so he has to deal with that, unfortunately. That can be purchased at Cossier. Among all the party members, Medusa Shield is arguably Rand's best shield. That can be purchased in the fishing spot from the Miron there, between Kotlin and Bando, or you can try to win one from the Night Riders if you're trying to hunt down No Twin Rapier as well. Now, as you can definitely see here, I gave him Love Bar. This will give him the same effect as Life Armor. He'll be able to recuperate his HP. And Shining Bracelet, which is probably his more important accessory, gives him protection against all status elements. That's very critical for your healer not to be afflicted with status elements. Most of the time, especially sleep and zombie status. So you can win these as a rare drop from Croakings on Giant Isle, and you can also acquire one from during your descent into Infinity as well. So anyway, that covers Rand's guide for the most part. I will redo Cat's probably tomorrow or sometime next week. I will have Rand's guide posted up whenever I get a chance. If you do enjoy what you see here, feel free to follow and as well as sub to both my Twitch and YouTube channels. It helps both of them grow. And I will catch you all later once I get more party members to level 50. And expect to see a redo of Cat's Guide again in the near future. So this is RotorStorm331 signing off. Have a great day. Take care. And I will see you all next time.